Dad, come on. It says that there's no.
I'm ready.
Huh?
What did he say?
Something weird?
What letter do you want to go to? A, B, or C?
I can't plant C.
B?
I can plant this one. It's B. Here comes.
Where is that?
Okay, we have to look for the zombies. You poison the zombies. I turn them into ghosts. Daddy.
Oh, he's just doom train. That's all I know.
Mushroom to battle. How can a mushroom battle?
Use it up.
I can use it. A little sunflower. Now we have sunflower. Get your whiskers open.
Is that what you said when you went to fight?
You got. Yeah! Brutal. Oh. Oh, hi there, guys. Yep.
Yeah.
Who's making that sound?
I don't know, right?
Well, yeah, it is quick. Another pea shooter. Now there are 2 pea shooters. And the 1 plant ghost. That everyone,
Doom train.
that every plant can see. Oh, I turned him into a ghost.
Saw that.
Alright guys, I'm gonna start.
Okay. Shh, I'm talking.
Jackson, I have back to school night, you cannot talk.
You say one word at a time, Jeff. You say one word at a time.
It's. Oh.
saw you the other night in the 4th grade back to school night. Oh no! I know, it's so hard to have one kid in elementary and then another kid in middle school. Just send an email to Gabby and set up another time to go pick it up. Or pick it up next week when you come for the 4th grade pickup. They'll hold it there for you. Unless there's something that she needs like right away, I'm not sure. I know, she told me today, she was like, I accidentally read the entire book.
She kept saying, I can't stop reading it.
Oh my goodness. Well, actually, I was thinking, I was like, I wonder if you were going to be my only parent tonight, because I do have Parker, I do have 2 other. Well, I can do my presentation for you really quickly, and then we. Yes, go ahead, please. No problem. Okay. Well, I won't keep you long because I know this is your last presentation and you've been on since, what, 6:30 was it? But I'm so glad to have Parker again in my class, and I'm glad that I had a chance to actually do the Social Justice Book Club, because it's something I've been talking to Gabby about for some time when I found out that 5th grade was actually going to be a part of middle school. So I have a motto for my class. It's today a reader, tomorrow a leader. So I'm using these books and I'm using this literature to help the students see what's going on in the world around them and see it from a different lens and actually from different cultures than they've had these windows from before. So what we're going to cover in class this year is the definition of social justice, the history and forms of systemic racism, and actually most of the students that were in my 5th grade class already had some of these lessons, but we're going to go into them obviously a little bit deeper in middle school. We're going to be talking about the U.S. justice system, obviously through the first book that we've been reading. We will get into the definition of colorism. We'll be talking about some police brutality and the Black Lives Matter movement. And also we are going to be talking about current events, because I've heard a lot of students seeing on the internet where a lot of students are saying, well, hey, there's a lot of current events that we want to talk about in school and our teachers don't give us a voice, or our teachers don't give us a moment to get some of these ideas out or share with our classmates, because they're not able to be on campus with their friends to talk about these things, and they want to talk about it in class. So I give the students at least like 5 minutes before class, like, hey, is there a current event that someone wants to talk about that has to deal with social justice or something that's been bothering them, and giving them the voice to actually share their ideas. We will be sharing personal stories. I always include my personal stories, and I open the floor up for the students to do the same. Discussion of new terms. Just a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about sundown towns in our class, and the students were like, well, what are sundown towns? And we talked about during the civil rights movement and during Jim Crow laws, where some some towns, you know, black people couldn't be there after 5 p.m. And we even talked about Culver City, right where Turning Point is located. It actually used to be a sundown town. So I can see the students are like on their computers starting to Google things. So it's really great that they're being introduced to these new terms and able to research them themselves. And we'll also talk about identity and diversity through a lot of our literature as well. Right. Oh, wow. That used to be, I think, a 7th grade book at Turning Point, but I know they changed the curriculum, but good for her. It will crack. Well, if she liked that, she might like the movie Just Mercy. It's a little similar, but I think it's on Netflix now, or they had it on Netflix or Amazon, kind of during when there were more protests, and they had like a lot of the black movies on that they had them on for free. But yeah, I would look up Just Mercy and see if it's still available on Amazon or Netflix. Oh, Ruby Bridges. Yes. That we actually just talked about Ruby Bridges in the class the other day, because one of the chapters in This Is My America is called Ruby Bridges, and it was comparing the girl in the book because she's kind of become an outcast because her father's in prison, her brother is on the run because they think that he murdered one of the girls at school, so she kind of became a pariah. Really? Oh, I'm so glad. And it's nice because all of the books that they're going to be reading this year, they've all been published within the last 3 years, because Genesis Begins Again was published 3 years ago, but This Is My America was just published in March, and Dear Martin was just published at the end of last year. So they're all very new books, and they're all the characters are all the same age as middle school students. So it's their stories that they're reading through these through these colorful books, and it's really cool because I didn't have books like this when I was in middle school. So they're really fortunate to be able to be sharing these stories. So right now we're reading This Is My America, that you've probably been hearing about. I didn't know if you received my email earlier that I sent out about but I was like, well, Parker's read it already. Right, well, we're definitely going to have him. I love that she feels that way, because that we actually had this, she's going to hear the lesson again, but yeah, we had this lesson already when we read The Lions of Little Rock in 5th grade, so we did have to discuss the Ku Klux Klan. We discussed the organization and how it began, and the ramifications that it's on our society today. So there's obviously going to be some more information I'm going to add to it, but yeah, Parker's heard this before. So the next book we'll be reading will be Genesis Begins Again. It does cover the topic of colorism, and a lot of students don't know about colorism because it is something that faces communities of color. But they'll learn it through music. The whole book uses like Miles Davis and Josephine Baker and Etta James. So they're going to learn all of these, these great. They get the music lessons and the literature at the same time. And then we're going to end the trimester with Dear Martin. It's a beautiful story about police brutality, and then it happens to a young middle school student, and he starts writing letters to Dr. Martin Luther King saying, why is this happening to me? Why did, I thought that you fought for this already, so why is this still happening? So it's kind of like, what a young boy learned in school, like, hey, Dr. Martin Luther King fought for my rights, so I don't have to worry about anything. But then it's kind of like the realization of, oh, it's still kind of happening, even though the civil rights movement already happened. So it's explained really beautifully. Nick Stone is a wonderful author. And I'm actually trying to get Kim Johnson to come in and speak to our class. She's my Instagram buddy, so we talk all the time. So I told her I would go through her people to get her into class. And then at the end of the trimester, I'm going to have a suggestion for other books for them to read throughout the rest of the year, because even though I will be offering this class again, it won't be the same books for the next trimester. So I really want the students to get a chance to get a lot of these stories that aren't just from a black person's point of view. There's also Latinx and Muslim and a lot of different characters. So I'll just give them a whole list of books. Yes, I think so, yeah. I mean, someone asked this the other night, and I was like, I think that's a Gabby Akana question, so I'm not sure if they have like a cycle that they have to go through, but we'll see. Right. And then, I'm running out of time here. But yeah, a lot of questions that the students ask in class, they're always like, well, Ms. Marchbanks, I really want to help. What can I do? And this class is not, a class where I'm telling the students to run out and join a protest, especially not during COVID times. But I really want to make sure that this class is raising leaders who are actively working to dismantle systemic racism and fighting for justice. And that could be through writing letters. That could be through, saying something in class if they hear something wrong, or they hear a friend say something, or they see something in their group chat, and learning to speak up and find their voice. So that's more what this class is about. And if they want to go out and join a protest with their parents later, that's fine. But I'm giving them the vocabulary and the ideas of how to be leaders in the future, because that's where we need them. So with grading for this class, I tell them all the time, this class is 50% participation. Every single day after we have class, I write down who participated. And I know Parker has a really quiet voice sometimes, but it's so wonderful sometimes. Like, the kids are yelling out answers, and I hear someone like say something, well, this is what happened. I was like, wait, I think that was Parker. Like, let me hear what Parker says. And she always has the right answer, and she always has something profound to say. So I was like, I want to make sure that she's being heard. Right. Yeah. I know, but she has a lot of type A personalities in her class, so I'm like, you guys, let someone else answer. But sometimes she's really smart. She'll just type it into the chat, and I'm like, yes, Parker, yes. Yeah, she'll get there. I know they have public speaking in 7th and 8th grade, so they'll be working on that. And that is the end. So if you have any other questions, I love having Parker, and tell her, yes, I would like for her to speak up more and speak her mind, because I know she has wonderful things to say.
Mommy, we got mission accomplished.